Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
So now let us move to the next era, which is called as Mesozoic era under the eon Phanerozoic. The term Mesozoic arises from the Greek words meso means between and zoic means life. So it represents the middle life. The name Mesozoic was proposed in 1840 by the British geologist John Phillips. This particular era started at around 251.902 million years ago and it lasted till around 66 million years ago. This is the era which is also called as the age of reptiles and also the age of conifers. The Mesozoic is preceded by the Paleozoic, that is the ancient life, and succeeded by the Cenozoic era, which means the new life. So it comes under the middle of the Phanerozoic eon. So we are talking about Mesozoic era. Now let us discuss the periods which come under this Mesozoic era. There are three periods, that is Triassic, Jurassic and Cretaceous, that come under the Mesozoic era. So let us talk about these periods under this Mesozoic era. Now here you can see the Phanerozoic eon comprises of Mesozoic era, has Triassic period, Jurassic period and Cretaceous period. So this started at around 251 or 252 million years ago and the last point goes till around 66 million years ago. And in between division also can be seen here on this particular chart. Starting with the first period, which is called as Triassic period. The word originated from the three distinct rock layers, that is called that is three, found throughout Germany and the northwestern Europe. These three were called as red beds, terrestrial mud and the sandstones. And that is the name. This tri comes from these three different rock layers. It was named by Frederick von Alberti in the year 1834. This period lasted for around 50.6 million year long duration. It started at around 251.9 million years ago and it went till around 201.3 million years ago. This particular period witnessed another major mass extinction event, which is called as Permian Triassic extinction event. Besides this extinction event, this period is also known for the development of various coniferous plants. So these are the two major organic events that took place under this period. Moving ahead, the next period is called as Jurassic period under this Mesozoic era. The word Jurassic comes from Jura Mountains within the European Alps, and it was named so by Alexander von Humboldt and Alexandre Brongniart. This period started at around 201.3 million years ago and it went till around 145 million years ago. The total duration is approximately 56.3 million years. The major mass extinction event called as Triassic Jurassic extinction event took place in the beginning of this period. Besides this mass extinction event, this period witnessed the rise of giant dinosaurs, appearance of first birds. You might be remembering the film Jurassic Park, which shows the evolution and proliferation of various dinosaurs. So this rise of giant dinosaurs is correlated with this Jurassic period under the Mesozoic era. Moving ahead with the third period under the Mesozoic era, which is called as Cretaceous period. The word Cretaceous comes from a Latin word creta, which means the chalk, and it was named so by Jean d'Aumale de Halloy in 1822. The Cretaceous period lasted for around 79 million years, starting at 145 million years ago till 66 million years ago. The major organic event that took place includes the Cretaceous Paleogene extinction event, which is also called as KPG extinction event or KT extinction event. Is the first flowering plant that were observed under this period, and the extinction of dinosaurs were also seen in this particular period of Mesozoic era. So these are the major events that took place under this Cretaceous period. After discussing all these periods, we come to the last era of our Phanerozoic eon, which is called as Cenozoic era, which is the era where we are living right now. And this Cenozoic era is divided into three periods, starting with the Paleogene period to the Neogene period and the Quaternary period. Now, in some of the books or in classical geological timescales, you will see that Cenozoic era is divided into two periods, which is called as Tertiary and Quaternary. So there, the Paleogene and Neogene are put together in Tertiary period and Quaternary period as separate. But this is the recent chart from the International Commission of Stratigraphy, which considers these separate periods as Paleogene, Neogene and Quaternary under the Cenozoic era. So we will also follow the same. Cenozoic era, the word Cenozoic comes from the Greek word Cenos. Cenos means new and Zoic means life. So it represents the new life. The term was proposed in 1840 by the British geologist John Phillips. It started at around 66 million years ago and this is still going on. And this particular era is called as Age of Mammals. The New Life era or the Cenozoic era is preceded by Mesozoic or the Middle Life era. So these are the three periods which we are talking about. Here you can see the division of Paleogene, Neogene and Quaternary within the Cenozoic era of Phanerozoic eons, representing a time from 66 million years ago to today. The first period, which is called as Paleogene period under the Cenozoic era, is also called as Lower Tertiary period. In Greek, the Paleogene means the ancient born because this is the first period under this Cenozoic era. It was named so by Carl Friedrich Neumann in the year 1866, whereas the term Tertiary period was given by Giovanni Arduino. This period was of a duration of 43.3 million years, starting from 66 million years ago till 23.3 million years ago. The Cretaceous Paleogene mass extinction event, that is the KPG mass extinction event, occurred in this particular period. Radiation of primitive mammals and dominance of flowering plants are another two important major organic events that took place under this particular period. This period is further divided into various epochs. Remember, the periods are divided into epochs, and the epochs which come under the Paleogene period include Paleocene, Eocene and Oligocene. We'll discuss them later on, but let's first finish off with the different periods that come under Cenozoic era. So after Paleogene, the next period is called as Neogene, which in Greek means newborn. and it was named so by Maurice Hornis in the year 1853. This period was for around 20.45 million years, starting at 23.03 million years ago till 2.58 million years ago. This period witnessed the proliferation of bony fishes, that is the teleosts. Also, the dominance of mammals and birds can be seen under this period only. Now, just like Paleogene is divided into epochs, Neogene is also divided into Miocene and Pliocene epochs. Moving with the last period under the Cenozoic era, which is called as Quaternary period. The word Quaternary represents sediments of France Seine basin that seemed clearly to be younger than the Tertiary period rocks, and that is why they were named as Quaternary after Tertiary period. The name Quaternary was given by Jules Desnoyers in the year 1829, and it started from 2.58 million years ago and it's still going on. So we can't know the total durations because it's still going on. And the major organic event that this particular period has witnessed is the appearance of humans. This period is also divided into Pleistocene and Holocene epochs. So we talked about Paleogene, Neogene and Quaternary period, and as I just mentioned, each period is divided into corresponding epochs. So here are the epochs which we are talking about from the periods of Cenozoic era. Now let's quickly have a look about the origin of these words of different epochs from the Cenozoic era. The Eocene literally means dawn new. Oligocene, few new. Miocene, less new, then followed by more new, most new and whole new. So Cenozoic is basically considered as the newest era, and within that each epoch has been named according to their existence of time. There is first element, that is Holo is the first element, Pleisto, Plio, Mio, Oligo and Eo, and there is a second element which is called as Scene. Now the second element Scene means new, and all these first elements in Greek means differently, like whole, most, more, less, few or dawn. So each epoch in this era has been named accordingly. Let's start with the first epoch, which is called as Paleocene epoch. The word Paleocene is basically a combination of Greek words, paleo, which means the old, and it's a combination with Eocene, which means the old part of Eocene now. So, of Eocene, the last part, that is the oldest part of Eocene, is basically termed as Paleocene epoch. And the word Paleocene was given by Wilhelm Philipp Schimper in the year 1874. This particular epoch lasted for around 10 million years, from the 66 million years to 56 million years ago. And this is the epoch particularly under the Paleogene period, which observed the Cretaceous Paleogene extinction event and radiation of primitive mammals took place. The next epoch is called as Eocene epoch, which in Greek means dawn of modern new fauna that appeared during this epoch. The word was given by Sir Giles Lyell in 1833, and this epoch is around 22.1 million years long, from the 56 million years ago to 33.9 million years ago. And the major organic event that can characterize this particular epoch is the dominance of flowering plants. So you can see that flowering plants were observed under this particular epoch. The next epoch is called as Oligocene from the Paleogene period, which actually means the few. Oligo refers to few and cene is the new. So it's relatively fewer or lesser newer. The word was given by Henrik Ernst Berek in the year 1854. Started at 33.9 million years ago, it went till 23 million years ago, so a total duration of about 10.9 million years. The rise of modern group of mammals and invertebrates took place under this particular epoch. So the next period, which is called as Paleogene, had two epochs, and the first of them is called as Miocene epoch, which in Greek means less new or less recent. And again, it was given by Sir Charles Lyell. The duration of this epoch was around 17.697 million years, from 23.03 to 5.333 million years ago. The proliferation of bony fishes or the teleost was the major characteristic organic event that took place under this epoch. The next epoch in this Neogene period is called as Pliocene epoch, which in Greek means more new or recent. It simply means the continuation of the recent. Again, Sir Charles Lyell was the person who named this particular epoch as Pliocene, and the duration was around 2.753 million years, starting from 5.33 to 2.58 million years ago. And the dominance of birds and mammals is the characteristic key event or the major organic event that characterizes this particular epoch. In the Quaternary period, there is a Pleistocene epoch, which means the most new. The most new epoch or the Pleistocene epoch was named so by Sir Charles Lyell again in the year 1839. This 2.5 million year long epoch started at around 2.58 million years ago till 11,700 years back. Colloquially referred to as the Ice Age. You might have heard the term Ice Age, which refers to this particular epoch basically. And this is the epoch which witnessed the appearance of humans. And lastly, where we are right now, or the currently ongoing epoch, is called as Holocene epoch from the Quaternary period. The word Holocene means the most recent or the entirely new or the whole new. It is also called as Anthropocene epoch because this particular epoch was mainly devoted for all the human developments. It started at around 11,700 years ago and it is still going on. And since the human development is the major event, some people refer the Holocene epoch as the Anthropocene epoch as well. So we started with the different eons, starting from the Hadean, Archean and Proterozoic Precambrionic eons. Then we move to the current eon, which is called as Phanerozoic, which is divided into three eras: Paleozoic, Mesozoic and Cenozoic era. Then we discussed the periods of each of these era, that is the periods of Paleozoic, periods of Mesozoic and periods of Cenozoic, and then particularly we refer to epochs of our Cenozoic era periods starting from Paleocene to Holocene. So let us quickly summarize what we did under this lesson or the lecture. We started our discussion with geological timescale, what geological timescale is, what are the various principles, that is principle of uniformitarianism, principle of superposition, etc., how the stratigraphy or particularly the biostratigraphy and the geochronologically combined domains of science constitute or help us to design the geological timescale. The commission which is involved in making and updating it is called as International Commission of Stratigraphy. Then we discussed various terms that are being used in the geological timescale. The terms associated with the fossils, strata, and the corresponding terms for the time which we discussed. Then we talked about the divisions or the components of geological time scales, starting with the super eon Precambrian or the 4 eons which we discussed. Then we talked about their further division into era, further divided into periods, and lastly the epochs. And then we went one by one to all these components of our geological time scale to discuss how it is made up of. So we described the various components of geological time scale. Now for this particular lesson, I would like you to go ahead with some websites. This is a website which is called Digital Atlas of Ancient Life. There is another website called stratigraphy.org. Now, this stratigraphy.org is the site of International Commission of Stratigraphy, from which you can get the updated geological time scales. Besides this, you can refer various books on evolution which do have mention of various components of geological time scale, including the Ridley, Holland Hallgrimsson and Douglas J. Futuyama. So with this, I would like to thank you. Happy learning.